1038 Lila Lane pool shed, located at 1038 Lila Lane, applicant Stephen Furlick is requesting an area variance to allow an 18-foot south rear setback where 50 feet is required, associated with the construction of a 352 square foot pool shed with overhang on a 0.5 acre parcel having SBL number 080.04-6-51, located in an R3 single-family residential district under section 225-11 of the code of the town of Webster.
Good evening.
Good evening. As stated, I'm Steve Furlitz. I'm representing my clients, Dave and Katie McAlpin. I'm working with them on a landscape plan to help organize their backyard. They currently have a pool installed and are looking to develop the landscape there. Can I approach and give you additional?
Sure.
Just took the time to kind of blow up or give you an overhead shot.
Thank you.
And if you were to look at what I just handed you, kind of whited out inside the dotted lot, which is their current house lot, would be essentially the footprint of what we're proposing. The structure we're proposing is actually came as a result of them wanting, a storage shed, but also perhaps a shade structure there since they face south. And rather than doing two structures, I thought it might be nice to streamline that and create, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. So what the structure we're proposing, the shed or the enclosed portion of it itself, it fits within the maximum, requirements for a shed. And in doing so, theoretically, if it didn't have that extended roof that we're proposing, that shed is well within, the requirements of where we're proposing putting it. It's just all of a sudden when we attach the roof to it to help streamline the design of the structure and try to combine maybe two design elements with one. It's my understanding that square footage, even though that's open air, is considered, part of the square footage of the building.
Yeah, I just want to be careful. I know it's on the agenda this evening. It's labeled as a shed, and on your survey, instrument survey labeled as a shed. Certainly, when we, my preference would be that this gets labeled as an accessory structure, not a shed.
Well,
correct?
yes.
Yes. I don't want anybody to misconstrue in the future what this is. It's an accessory structure.
Right, I'm sorry, that was my mistake.
It's on the agenda and it's on the survey map as such. So.
Okay. But in doing so, it then becomes, by attaching the roof, it then becomes, as you're saying, as you're correct, Mr. Chairman, it becomes what's categorized as an outbuilding or house structure. And once we do that, it does not all of a sudden, comply with the minimum setback, which is 50 feet. Now, given the size of the lot and the setback where the house is itself, there's really no place on that property anywhere where it would, have a 50-foot setback. If you look at the current survey, the house itself is, just 50 feet off the property.
Edge of pool is what? How far?
I'm sorry?
Edge of pool is how far? What's the setback to the edge of the pool? From the rear lot line? Roughly, do you know?
I would say it's over 20. Yeah, well over.
Yeah, you're probably close to a third.
Yeah.
To my point, the edge of the pool isn't even gonna meet the 50 foot. You couldn't possibly, the pool is, you get my point.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. What is, just for the record, can you state the size of the total structure?
Yeah, so the total structure itself would be 352.
Right, but length and width.
Oh, I'm sorry. It would be 22 by 16, if you combine the, yeah.
Anything else to add?
Yeah, I think, you know, the structure itself, I did enclose an example of, you know, a similar type structure.
Yep.
And we feel it doesn't really impact the integrity of the neighborhood. As you can see, there's other pools, other sheds, other, you know, structures, and kind of, you know, the orientation of it being directly behind the house rather than off to the, you know, the sides or more towards the side lots. It doesn't really, you know, impact you know, view of the neighbors. There's also the neighbors directly behind. You can see that there's a wooded strip of land there, so it really doesn't impact the neighbors to the south at all. And to the east, you can see that is an extremely deep lot, and that borders there. Doesn't really impact that.
Did you look at a configuration on the east side of the pool?
Well, that puts it very close to the side property line. And then also looking down from the cul-de-sac, it would be, you know, more visible. We're trying to, you know, keep it as discreet and tucked away as possible.
So you can improve the rear setback, but then you're possibly into a side setback issue.
Yeah, completely.
And the rear yard on the south side is certainly buffer. There's some, I would say, decently matured vegetation around there.
Yeah.
No matter where this goes, it will require that. And if you were to go closer, if you were to go to the north, further to the north, to increase the 18-foot setback on the rear lot line, you've got an existing deck and some other landscape that you're going to run into there. This meeting is open to anyone wishing to speak for or against this application. Okay. With NYCR section 617, the environmental code, I'll make a motion for type 2 seeker.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Comments?
So there's obviously no future intent for guest house?
No.
It's
It's really strictly for
Okay.
store, you know,
Yeah.
storage of, you know, pool.
We just like that on the record, so people
Yeah,
understand. Yeah.
Anything, Mrs.
There's really no place on the lot where this could be placed for a variance, either for the rear setback or side setback.
The house itself at the, what I'll call the shallowest point is 50 foot from the rear setback. So anything that goes, that's larger than a shed in an accessory style building is going to require a setback. Anybody care to hit on these standards?
I'll say it's not out of character with the neighborhood. The lot to the rear, the street behind it, has an in-ground pool that has a cabana, a pool building that's attached to the concrete. There's a lot of sheds, and while this isn't truly a shed, many of the pools within that neighborhood and that entire subdivision do have some type of a building to contain the pool stuff. This is considered an accessory structure because it has the additional shaded area, but I don't think it's excessive by any means. It will not create a detriment to nearby properties. If it were merely a shed, it would be within the setback, and the location that it's placed, it will be hidden from the road by the house, and hidden from the only neighbors that would really be able to see it by the hedgerow that's behind the property. As we've stated, it's really not achievable by any other method, and that no matter where the structure is placed on the lot, it would require some variance, given that the rear setback of the house is already at 50 feet. No adverse physical or environmental impacts, and while it was self-created, it will not be an undesirable change. Anything else to add? With that, I'll make a motion to grant an area variance at 1038 Hyla Lane for Stephen Furlett to request an area variance to allow an 18-foot rear setback where 50 feet is required in associated with the construction of a 352 square foot accessory structure having an overhead, which is consisting of a 10 by 16 shed and a 12 by 16 overhead on a 0.5 acre parcel having SBL 0.04-6-51, located in an R3 single family residential district.
Second.
Mrs. Fuller?
Aye.
Mr. Stockman?
Aye.
Mr. Newton?
Yeah, I just want to once again clarify, we're approving an accessory structure because the applicant would be able to put a shed on this property.
Correct.
Yes.
He will be.
He will be able to. We keep referencing it as a shed. This is an accessory structure. You're allowed one shed in an accessory structure in the town of Webster, so.
And this is the accessory
It's important
structure.
to note, this is the accessory structure.
Okay.
In case you come back with a version.
Yeah, that was my mistake. I kind of just took the language that was in the application.
No, I
You're
just
correct.
want to make sure that
It's clear.
so he understands.
Yeah.
And do we condition it that the open area will not be enclosed without permission from this board, or does it matter?
It's still,
It's still the location, it doesn't really matter, it's an accessory structure. Okay. Did we vote?
Yes,
Aye.
Yes. Variance has been approved, couple conditions applied. Must obtain all necessary governmental permits, including town building permit, and you have 1 year to commence construction.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.